what you're gonna say. I can't believe what you're alluding to, Max. Let it out. Let it out. What are you trying to say?
This is my hot take. You just calm down. He is a great, great fighter. A good big man doesn't beat a great little man. It takes something more than a good big man to do that, and Lopez is more than just good.
Punches are not made, they are born. And this guy, Lopez, was born to punch. And he's got one other thing going for him, Steven and Max. He reminds me of Pacquiao, Lopez, in a way, not just with power in either hand, but his closing step, his ability to explode. You know, kind of like an athlete in football, basketball, any of those sports where it's not about running a 40, it's about the quickness, it's about the closing step, the burst. He's got that burst. Not everybody's got that burst.
Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman go head-to-head in a heated discussion about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. The debate focuses on their overall skill level, punching power, and professional resume, with both analysts presenting strong arguments while comparing what each fighter brings to the table.
City, January 31st, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. I always say it, when boxing gets it right, no other sport comes close. And this is boxing getting it right. The best fighting the best. Both fighters believe that this matchup settles the argument about who leads the new era. So what do we think of the Styles matchup, guys? This is a high-speed chess match a la Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, Leonard and Benitez, or yes. Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt, or is
Stephen A. Smith spoke highly of Teofimo Lopez's sharp defensive skills, pointing out his quick reactions and his talent for avoiding punches during close, fast-paced exchanges inside the ring.
Sure to show the world that at 23 years of age, I'm a champion, and you're going to have to come take this from me. I'm not giving you a damn thing. I loved his quickness. We know about Lopez's power, but I'm talking about his quickness defensively. But I saw Lopez being elusive, and I love that because it's one thing for you to have the power and the quickness to go along with the power offensively. A lot of guys can look good until they get hit. There were times where he got hit, and there were other times where
He repeatedly highlights Teofimo Lopez's proven habit of delivering his best performances when the spotlight is brightest. Smith stresses that Lopez never backs down from top-level opponents, pointing to his dominant victory over Vasily Lomachenko as clear proof that elite competition does not intimidate him.
We all know that Lomachenko's footwork is exceptional. It's practically unrivaled. So you could see what he's done to numerous fighters, which contributed to them quitting, like Nicholas Walters and others. He tried that with Lopez. It didn't work. Lopez's footwork worked. His speed was there. Some power, obviously. But his elusivity is what impressed me most. The fact that he was able to slip a number, not all, but a number of those
he turned with Lomachenko.
pitches.
He wouldn't let Lomachenko establish his outside foot.
And I loved it.
Yeah, for me, coming into this fight, obviously I always talk to Max about fighting. I love it. I was thinking, and Lopez mentioned it pre-fight, everybody thought it was going to be very Mayweather-Canelo when they fought, and that he would be outclassed. If you look at the first 6 rounds, it was about patience. He was patient. He didn't rush himself.
Teddy Atlas joined Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman and shared his view that Teofimo Lopez faces his toughest test when going up against a true pound-for-pound great. Atlas emphasized Shakur Stevenson's elite fundamentals, explaining that Lopez's raw athletic ability by itself may not be enough when facing a fighter with.
The challenge lies ahead for Lopez this upcoming weekend.
What challenge? The challenge of fighting for me, my estimation, the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Either him or Crawford. You choose it, it doesn't matter. You could flip-flop either one of them. They're the 2 top guys. The challenge is to get his bomb to the target. Yeah, like Customano, my mentor, used to say, Teddy, having power is great, but if you don't have a means to get it to the target, it has no value. It's like a military weapon, he used to say. If you don't have a missile, it just blows up and makes a big hole in the ground. So that's the challenge. Get it to the target. Get it to the chin or the body. It might be a good idea with a guy who moves his head so much, but get it to the target with Lomachenko. So keep yourself together mentally with all that going on, with all the chaos stuff coming at you. And don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated.
Kellerman repeatedly points out that Shakur Stevenson does more than just win his fights, he shuts his opponents down. According to him, Stevenson's footwork, control of distance, and sharp anticipation give him the ability to set the tempo and control the flow of every single bout.
Shakur is one of those guys and who comes along, and I think this is really the question about him. I said he is one of those guys. Is he one of those guys? Like Pernell, like Roy, like Floyd, their defenses were so good, and they boxed in a way where they weren't going to take unnecessary risks. They weren't running and holding. You know, I had a problem with the second half of the Haney-Norman fight because I felt like they continue to box. Pernell did, Roy did, and Shakur does now, right? But when a guy has those advantages in boxing skill and speed, and they don't take risks, they are almost impossible to beat. So no matter who Pernell was fighting, no matter who Roy was fighting, if someone would have asked me who they're going to be, they're fighting Godzilla, Pernell. They're fighting Roy. Shakur has that look to me
He acknowledged that both fighters possess elite skill sets, but made it clear that Shakur Stevenson is not known as a heavy puncher. He explained that Shakur's success comes from accuracy, strong defense, and ring control, not from relying on knockout power.
The difference here is that they're both twitchy, they're both fast, they're both excellent boxers. Teo's a puncher. I know it hasn't shown up in recent fights, but we have watched both of their careers. Shakur is not a puncher.
No.
Teo is.
Teo it can be an explosive, I hit you with a shot you don't see, and you are out cold type puncher.
And talking about power, strength too. I think Teo's going to be the much stronger guy in there. Shakur Stevenson's not a strong guy.
I think he's getting stronger.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
agree.
But this is his first fight at 140 though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting
I
his
feel
strength.
like, but I also feel like that Shakur might surprise you, Mike, with his physical strength. Physical strength, as we all know, doesn't always translate to punching power.
Sure, of course not.
But when he was a younger fighter, he looked like he could be moved around by his opponent. It doesn't look like that anymore.
No, he's definitely matured in his body. But first fight at 140, Teo's what? I think this is maybe his fifth fight at 140?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That's true, but Shakur has a frame where he can...
Max Kellerman explains that Shakur Stevenson steps into this matchup with greater pressure due to his technical reputation and undefeated record. In contrast, Teofimo Lopez has more to gain as the underdog, where expectations are lower and opportunity is higher, making the fight far more dangerous and unpredictable.
Is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses,
Shakur Stevenson has openly shared how important this fight is to him, describing it as a major opportunity to prove that he ranks among the very best pound-for-pound fighters in boxing today.
People think the fight with Teo is either going to be you delivering a masterclass
or a knockout by Teo.
Yeah, or you getting into some type of brawl with Teo and end up getting knocked out, right? What are fans getting wrong about the matchup?
I think the fans is getting wrong about the matchup is where I'm not sleeping on that I know about Teo. Teo's a good boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He's boxer first. So we could say, oh, he's just going to knock you out. Or he's just going to... That's not him. He's boxing first. He's going to want to establish distance and range on the outside and try to beat me up on the outside. So I think that's the main thing. And also the biggest thing that everybody don't realize with me, I can punch. Everybody say, oh, he can't punch, and then boom, crack somebody, and then they laying down, or something may happen to where they hurt or something like that. So I think
many analysts view the matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez as a compelling tactical battle, where strategy, timing, and energy management could ultimately determine who comes out on top.
I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, you know, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, you know, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Tio comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does,
Lopez is frequently described as a fighter who begins aggressively, using mid-range explosiveness, precise counters, and early bursts of pressure. Analysts note that if he cannot maintain that intensity over all 12 rounds, his output may drop in the later championship rounds, potentially giving Stevenson the chance to seize control and shift the momentum.
If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Tio looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Tio is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight. You know what I mean? Where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually.
Insiders suggest that matchups like Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez are exactly what boxing needs today. Legendary former champion Roy Jones Jr. called this potential fight a true skill-for-skill battle, likening it to elite showdowns like Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Jones emphasized that contests of this level help restore credibility to the sport by showcasing the very best fighters facing each other at the peak of their careers.
I'll start with you, Pierre. Shakur and Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson getting it on in about 3.5 weeks or something like that. Also on the undercard is Keyshawn Davis, but the main event. Let's jump into the main. Tell me what you're thinking.
You got an ultimate skill fighter versus a boxer who's twitchy, and twitchy sometimes beats out skills. Sometimes that's the side that can really beat a straight up boxer to me. Somebody who's twitchy. Because they don't fight, as normally as most boxers fight. They give angles, body movements, bouncing around like a Lomachenko would done, even a Crawford does, moves different angles and so forth. That's why they can beat a lot of boxers.
Analysts agree that both Stevenson and Lopez bring championship experience, star quality, and a lot to prove. Their contrasting styles, Stevenson's elite technical precision, defense, and ring intelligence versus Lopez's explosive power, speed, and aggression, set the stage for a high-stakes, must-watch fight. Matchups like this spark debate, build excitement, and attract both casual and hardcore fans, as prime fighters take real risks against top-level competition. This is exactly the kind of clash that keeps boxing thrilling, creating dramatic moments and reigniting fan passion.
Who's going to show up what day? What's Shakur showing up? What Tio's going to show up? You get what I'm saying?
We going always Shakur going to always be Shakur. The offense that we saw from him in his last fight was just, he knew what he had in front of him, and eventually he knew that he was going to be in a position where he could have his way with the kid who was in the ring. I'm losing his name off the top of my head.
Right, I know you're talking about. But I believe he fought that way because he started hearing all the call of him running. He started saying, you know what? Let me stay in the pocket, because he stood in the pocket a lot more than he normally stood in the pocket with that fight. You know what I'm saying?
It took some unnecessary shots.
Huh?
It took unnecessary shots.
Well, okay, right. Mm-hmm. But you see what kind of fan base he got after that too. The doubters started saying, you know what? I'm gonna roll with him more, because we were getting tired of him running and skillfully beating people. That gets boring. Like Mayweather did his
boxing style is often criticized as boring, but that label misses the skill and strategy behind his approach. He focuses on elite footwork, precise counters, and defensive mastery instead of constant aggression or wild exchanges. While many fans and casual viewers prefer dramatic knockouts and non-stop action, Stevenson prioritizes control and timing. His fights may seem methodical or slower-paced, but this cerebral style makes him extremely difficult to hit and very effective against top-tier opponents. Though not flashy, Stevenson's technique showcases modern boxing intelligence, proving that strategy and precision can be just as exciting as raw knockout power.
Y'all scared of Shakur.
Nobody's scared of Shakur, bro.
I think y'all be ducking
Shakur's scared of his shadow, bro. Relax,
I think y'all
bro.
be ducking Shakur.
Shakur,
right?
you see his last fight?
Come on, the fans want to see, though.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Stop hyping up Shakur.
I want to see Ryan and Shakur.
I've
Devin
not
and
heard that
Shakur.
at all.
Yeah.
I've never
You
heard
wouldn't
that.
want to see that?
I never heard
Absolutely.
hey, nobody on the street has ever been like, yo, Shakur, you would be crazy.
Who should Shakur Stevenson fight next?
I don't think he should fight at all ever again because he just puts the fans to sleep and he's not doing anything entertaining for the damn sport. Honestly, just pick him out of boxing, bro. He's horrible.
God damn.
I'm asking you this. You think Dana would put up with Shakur? He'd be the first one to get kicked out of the UFC, right or wrong?
I will say this. You're right. Dana definitely wants, because it's a promotion, it's an entertainment company.
Okay, boxing's an entertainment company too. He ain't doing the sport a favor, so kick him out.
How would that fight between him and David Haney go?
Honestly, man, if you want to get off to that, man, you're better off watching like Gabe.
Amir Khan has recognized Shakur Stevenson as a highly skilled and technically gifted fighter who adds significant value to the sport. While his style may not always thrill casual fans, Stevenson's precision, defense, and ring intelligence make him extremely difficult to hit or defeat, demonstrating the true essence of boxing. Khan has praised other fighters, like Teofimo Lopez, for their power and aggression, but he also respects Stevenson's elite abilities. He notes that fans often mistake tactical defensive mastery for boredom. At the highest level, slipping punches, controlling distance, and outthinking an opponent are signs of real mastery. Stevenson's technique and success against top competition prove that there is beauty in skill, not just in knockouts. Interview 15.
What do you think about the criticism that Shakur gets? Like, people say that he's
boring and all that.
he's not entertaining.
I mean, look, he's like an Andre Ward style. Andre Ward wasn't really that entertaining, but got the win. I mean, that's what boxing is all about. So I used to love watching Andre Ward fight because it was so punch perfect. I watched his footwork, how he'd move to the right, to the left, and I trained with him as well, with Virgil. And I used to watch how he trained and how he fought, and I thought, how he puts his hands there and uses it as a defense, and then pulls your hands down and catches you over the top, and them little things. So this is a fight that people get, because you got two different styles. You got an offensive, defensive in Lopez, and you've got a defensive.
Stevenson has been open and confident about both his preparation and mindset ahead of a potential fight with Teofimo Lopez. During training camp, he has highlighted how sharp, disciplined, and focused he feels, suggesting that fans are seeing the best version of himself yet. He emphasizes execution over hype, trusting that his skills will set him apart on fight night. While showing respect for Lopez's talent, athleticism, and power, Stevenson makes it clear that mistakes will not be overlooked. He believes Lopez's aggressive style could create openings, and he plans to capitalize on those moments with precision and timing. Confident in his strategy, Stevenson aims to dictate the pace and control the fight from start to finish, delivering a performance that cements his elite status.
Your division at that time and then the one above you, but it's in a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zapada's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's going to have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy.
Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez is entering this fight with renewed confidence and a strong sense of purpose, viewing it as a defining moment in his career. He has emphasized that he feels mentally sharp, physically powerful, and completely in sync with his training. Instead of feeling pressured by expectations, Lopez is embracing the spotlight, believing this is the stage he was made for. His mindset shows maturity and hunger, shaped by past experiences that have strengthened his determination. Lopez sees this fight as an opportunity to display his full arsenal, speed, power, ring intelligence, and competitive drive, while proving why he remains one of boxing's most dangerous and talented fighters.
It's limitless, though, so then again, it's like I could always succeed to another level with it, and exceed to it. So it's really just trying to just keep it going, keep moving forward throughout the whole time and throughout the whole process, and mainly just have fun with it. You got to have fun with what you do. I love this. I haven't stopped doing what I've done because of the fact that I enjoy what I do. This has been 20 years in the making, 20 years in this, and I have so much to do and so much to prove within myself. So mentally, I'm prepared. Physically, I'm more than ready, and emotionally, I'm on fire, I'm on fire with it, because all I ever did was try to be great, and it's no longer trying. I am great, and it's all about just continuing and holding that. So it's all about just staying humble throughout the process, keeping myself level-headed, and really just enjoying each day that we get because...
A victory over Teofimo Lopez would be a landmark moment in Shakur Stevenson's career. Beyond earning another world title, it would boost his credibility and strengthen his position in negotiations for a highly anticipated fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. Many fans and insiders see defeating a proven star like Lopez as the final step Stevenson needs to cement himself as the division's top contender, making a showdown with Davis not only desirable but virtually inevitable.
Man, what do you say to that, bro? Like, you hear him, bro? I just can't wait to beat him and shut him up, bro. T.O. not on this level. T.O. is a high-level fighter, but he's not on my level. I'm an elite-level fighter, and come January 31st, I'm going to show it.
You've shown respect to him for his performances in the past, what he's done. He's fought guys like Lomachenko and Taylor. You say that he's not on your level. Why do you think you're on just a different level than him?
Because I seen him at his best. Against Taylor, against Lomachenko, he was at his very best. That was the best he can do. I don't think he can do nothing better than that. So
self-projection.
What I seen from that fight, I feel like I'm way better than them guys. With Lomachenko, like I said, he didn't throw punches for 6
Objection!
rounds. For 6 rounds. So if you ain't throw punches for 6 rounds and you get in front of me,
and you was
I just don't know. I would have beat Lomachenko that night.